Yo, what's going on, everybody? Today's video, I'm actually going to be helping out a buddy put on some new rotors and brake pads on his Toyota Supra. I've actually never worked on a Supra before, but I am at the auto hobby shop and I'm going to go meet up with Matt and we'll check out his Supra and then get these brakes installed, so stay tuned. I know you see it. Yeah. What's up, man? What's up?
Just get everything out of the car first.
So you got everything you need?
I think so. If not, I'm gonna put it right back in the car.
Yeah, right?
So I got brake pads, rotors, oil filter, and
Nice, so we're gonna do rotors, pads, and an oil change. What year is it? 95? 1995 Toyota Supra. It's got some nice Advan racing wheels on it. It is automatic, but he does plan on doing a 6-speed swap on it. And I actually got to drive this car. This was the first Supra I've ever driven. I drove it a few weeks ago around the neighborhood, did a little walk around. And we got a Altezza 34 and a 33 Skyline over here. All right, so first things first, we're gonna have to just get it lifted up. We'll break the lug nuts on the wheels while it's on the ground, and then we'll lift it up a little bit, pop the wheels off. We'll just work one corner at a time. All right, so a little update where we're at right now. So we got the Supra up on the lift. We have all 4 wheels taken off, and currently the calipers, the front calipers, are taking off the rotors, and we're just trying to figure out how to get the rotors off. They are seized up pretty good. We have the calipers over here. You guys can see a bunch of rust on them. These things were long overdue, but right now I just can't get the rotor off. So we're gonna probably pull out a big ass mallet and just start beating them. But you can see in here, there's a whole bunch of corrosion. We also got the oil draining out right now. We're trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, doing the oil change while we work on the front. So hopefully we can figure out how to get these rotors off without doing too much manual labor, but it might have to come down to that. So that's where we're at right now. But while we're under here, we'll take a look at Matt's Supra. It is pretty much stock. Some spider webs here. He barely drives it. Look at this. How many Supras do you see with stock exhaust? And honestly, for an Okinawa car, there's not a lot of rust. Piping's pretty standard, but if you look at everything else, I mean, it's very clean. I'm actually pretty impressed. And the oil filter is like way up here. Unlike the Evo on the 4G63, it's right here vertical. We're gonna have to get that out. But we'll pick back up. Hopefully we can get these rotors off. For anybody looking for a how-to, like a do-it-yourself, you've got the bolts here on the back of the caliper. These are 16 millimeters, so you don't have to remove these. These have a female end, and these actually screw into the back of here when these are mounted on the rotors. And then, so these are 14 millimeter. These are 16 millimeter. Here are the pads right here. We're gonna get the pads off, replace those. Really just gotta figure out a way to get the rotor off. So we'll pick back up once we get these things off. So we finally got the rotors off. So here's the old front rotor compared to the new ones. The ones we're gonna be installing are made by Dixel. Here is the part number, and they are slotted, as you can see, compared to these. So we'll keep them a little bit cooler under hard braking, even though he's not really doing any racing in it, but they still look cool in my opinion. So we got 2 here for the front, 2 here for the rear, and then here are the brake pads. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the rotors on the hub after he's done spraying those down, and then we'll install the brake pads into the calipers and get those bolted back up, and then we'll move to the rear, and then we'll have to go up top, top off the oil, and swap out the oil filter, and we should be done. Pretty easy maintenance day. And at the end of the day, even though it's like a high-powered sports car, Japanese legend, it is a Toyota, and just like most Japanese manufacturers, the cars are very easy to work on, and that's why I'm a huge fan of them. I've owned German in the past, and it is a pain in the butt. The first time I've actually had a cameraman. I'm really excited right now. So just to show you guys comparison of the old brake pads versus the new brake pads, you can see the amount of wear on the old ones compared to the new ones, and all you want to do is take off the existing shims on your pads. We can trash those, and then you just transfer everything else over to the new brake pad and then slide it on the caliper. It's pretty straightforward. It's just a tedious job because you got to, do all 4 corners if you plan on doing a whole brake job. But once you have these on, you just slide it back in onto the caliper. just like so. So now we have the new pads on there, so this caliper is good to go. So we just got to throw the rotor back on, get the caliper on, get the other piece with the pistons, tighten everything down, and that corner will be good to go. Pretty straightforward. Yo, while you're wiping that down, let's talk about this Supra. How much did you get it for?
$13,500.
$13,500. So he got this 1995 Supra for $13,500, and this was in 2017. So a few years ago, and the prices, as you guys know, have just been climbing astronomically on these cars. And this thing is definitely a garage queen. He drives it what, just to and from work?
Yeah, that's it.
It's probably never left base, so I don't know. I'm gonna sweet talk him into letting me buy it from him. Doubt it'll happen. But we went ahead and got the new rotor on right here. He's just taking some WD-40, kind of wiping everything down, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring that caliper over and get it bolted on, and that'll lock down the front left corner, and then we'll do the same on the opposite side over here. So the rotor's on, we got the calipers buttoned back up, everything is good to go on both sides on the front, so the fronts are done. Same thing with the driver's side. He wants to actually get the car repainted, and when he does so, he's gonna do the caliper, so we're not too worried about them looking like shit right now. But for the possible Supra owners or future Supra owners out there, to remove the caliper, you gotta remove the 14 millimeter here and the 14 millimeter up top. That'll get this off with the brake pads, and then over here, it's a 16 millimeter, and then there's one back here. So you got 4 total on the rear, and that should get the job done and get the calipers off. And then Matt right now is trying to work on that oil filter I was talking about. It's way, way up here. So he's got a little clamp with a socket wrench, trying to get a grip on it and pull it off. And then we'll just let it drain down in here and then put the new one back on. So Matt finally got the oil filter off. It was definitely a team effort to get that bad boy off there. And then now we're gonna go ahead and pull out the rear brake rotors. As you guys will see, the rears are not as big as the fronts. Most of your stopping power is on the front brakes, in case you didn't know. And Matt's getting a little hands-on back here, working on the rears, getting the calipers off. Try to get up underneath. So you got the 14 millimeter here, 14 millimeter here, and then the two 17s on the back. And you can see the rear rotors look pretty gnarly, so these are well overdue. And then maybe while we're down here, Matt might want to kill some of these spiders, I don't know. Such a shame, man. Supra owner with spider webs all over it. Same thing as the fronts. Pull off the new pads, and then we'll get everything transferred from the rear pads over to the new pads. Yeah, these things are pretty shot. And in case you guys were wondering what kind of oil he's putting in the Supra, some Royal Purple, full synthetic 5W40. And he's got 6 quarts, but the service manual calls for what, 5.5?
5.5.
So obviously you got to get that full quart. And then here is the oil filter and the part number. Obviously there's a Japanese oil filter. Money. So we just got to get the piston compressed. But those are all set, ready to go. All right, guys, on the rear rotors, you're gonna see a little grommet. On his, he has a little arrow, so we pulled this grommet off, and then we rotated the hub until that opening was right in here. And you guys will see this little gear, that's for the shoes. So you can move it back and forth. So I took a flathead, put it through the hole on the rotor, and then push that down in this motion. And that loosened the shoes, so we were able to pull the hub off. And when we put the new hub on, we'll have to rotate it upward. So we'll stick the flathead down, pull up until we tighten it. And that's how you get the rear rotor off on a Toyota Supra. So rear rotors are on. Here's that hole, and we had to tighten the shoes. So like I said, stuck the flathead in there and adjusted it. And you'll know it's nice and tight because that rotor is not gonna come off. And then now we're gonna compress the piston on the caliper. He's getting that grommet back on there. And then we will go ahead and get everything buttoned back up. And then we'll only have one more corner to do. All right, so a little update. This one's buttoned back up, good to go. Matt's just finishing up the last corner. And then that'll be it. I put the new oil filter on. So when we bring the car down, we'll just have to top up the oil. But check out this Supra. This thing's beautiful. He just pulled up a few minutes ago and it looks like he's putting on a downpipe. But overall, like I said before, pretty easy car to work on. And once we bring it down, we'll just throw the rims back on. And that'll be it for the Toyota Supra brake install. So we'll pick back up once we get the car down, top off the oil and get the wheels put on. And then obviously, he's got to go for a drive, make sure our work was good to go. All right, so we got the car down. And here's the final product. I think the rotors actually look really good. They match the car pretty nice. Do a little walk around. The R32 pulled up. And then Matt right now is just topping off the oil. And how many of you guys have seen a completely stock 2JZ GTE? It's got the stock airbox. Not one thing has been touched on this engine. Stock exhaust. We've been talking. I was telling him he might want to keep it stock, or at least keep all the stock parts, because you know how hard it is to find one of these in good condition that's completely stock. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, if Matt should mess with the engine or just keep it stock as is. As far as terms of value go long term, because I don't see a whole lot of Supras that are completely stock like this. It's almost like a unicorn, man, if you think about it. No aftermarket gauges, no craziness going on the inside. I'm digging the floor mats. Even the weather seals on the Supra are really pristine. So how's it feel to own the quietest Supra in the world? Everybody's always saying, oh, the 2JZ, most monstrous engine in the world, the best engine hands down. Yeah, after you put like a bunch of money, I mean, it's a great engine, don't get me wrong, but, ooh, so monstrous, right? The Toyota Camry. Oh yeah. Yo, check out this R33 sitting out here. Beautiful color. Oh man. You do not see a lot in blue. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for more JDM car content. And I will catch you all in the next video. Take it easy. Later.